Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the load test on three-phase induction motor or performance characteristics of three-phase induction motor. So previous classes we have seen the equivalent circuit of three-phase induction motor. We have seen the various parameters associated with the equivalent circuit and we have seen the equivalent circuit referred to stator side or rotor side. Then we have seen the approximate equivalent circuit and we have found out the values for maximum torque, starting torque, etc. Okay, so now we are going to see the performance of induction motor. Why we have to see performance? We have to see the how efficient is our motor. Okay, so by performing the load test on three-phase induction motor, we can find out various parameters at different loads like slip, power factor, input current, efficiency, torque that is maximum torque or starting torque. So all these parameters we can find out by performing the load test on three-phase induction motor. And this load test can be done by any two ways, that is one is by brake test and second one is by using a generator. Okay. So load test on three-phase induction motor is by conducting load test we are getting what? Slip, power factor, input current, efficiency at various loads we can study. Okay, we can know the how efficient is our motor, what is the performance of our motor. We are going to plot the characteristics of these various parameters. Okay, and we are going to see the circuit diagram, the tabular column also. Okay, the procedure, how exactly what input we have to give, what output we are getting, and how motor and generator are coupled with each other. So all these things we are going to see it now. So here we have drawn a circuit diagram for load test on three-phase induction motor. So this is a induction motor, three-phase induction motor, which is mechanically coupled to a generator. So as I said earlier, we can perform this test by using first method is brake test, second method is by using a generator. So we are using a generator to perform the load test on three-phase induction motor, and motor and generator are coupled to each other through a mechanical coupling. Okay. So here we are giving to the induction motor three phases are there, R by B. So R by B three phases are there. I am giving here three-phase AC supply. Okay, three-phase AC supply is given to the induction motor. These are the fuses here. This is the switch. Okay, now here ammeter and voltmeter on left hand side here are reading line current and line voltage. Okay, this IL is representing what? Line current, and VL is representing line voltage. Okay, now two wattmeter methods, we are connecting two wattmeters here, W1 and W2. MLCVRS terminal, that is main line or main load common volts. Okay, MLCV, W1 and W2. These are our two wattmeters. So input power will be equal to what? Addition of these two wattmeters. Okay, P input will be W1 plus W2. Line current is IL and line voltage is VL. Okay. Now here I have drawn a squirrel cage rotor diagram here below this induction motor. So this means that our induction motor is of squirrel cage type. We can use slip ring induction motor also. Okay. We can use either slip ring or squirrel cage induction motor, and also in the stator we can use star or delta connected stator. Okay. Now here on the right hand side you can see here also two meters are there. One is ammeter and the one is voltmeter. So this ammeter is reading load current. This is reading load current, and this B is reading terminal voltage. And here this is lamp bank is connected as a load. Okay, lamp bank is connected as a load to the generator. So what we are doing here? We are giving load to the generator through this lamp bank, and hence induction motor is also getting loaded. Okay, so for various loads we are determining the values of voltages, currents and speed. Okay, with the speed can be measured with the help of a tachometer. So tachometer is used to measure the speed. Okay. So one load I have written here. So load should be increased till induction motor carries rated line current. So line current is what? The maximum current which induction motor can withstand. Okay. Till that point only the load should be increased. So load is increased till induction motor carries rated line current. So we are increasing the value of load, and hence we are loading generator and motor, and we are finding out the values of these meters: IL, BL, W1, W2, then this IL, this VT, okay, and speed. So all these parameters we are determining by using this load test. Okay, and we can use here squirrel cage rotor or slip ring rotor. So in this our test I have used here squirrel cage rotor. So below this only we are drawing the diagram to know which type of motor it is, squirrel cage or slip ring. And the stator can be either star connected or delta connected. This is the observation table which we are drawing from the load test by performing load test on 3-phase induction motor. So on induction motor side and on generator side we are writing the values. Okay. Serial number, then line current, amperes, line voltage in volts, W1 in watts, W2 in watts. Okay. Then on generator side, this is load current in amps, terminal voltage in volts, speed in RPM. Okay. So like this, by applying different loads, we can get different values. Okay. Load is increased, and then we are finding out what is the values of currents, voltages, wattmeter readings, and speed for motor and generator both. So what will be the calculations by performing this load test? So for induction motor we have found out line current, line voltage, W1, W2 values, and for generator we have found out load current, terminal voltage, and speed values. Okay. So output of induction motor will be the input to the generator because both are coupled to each other, right? So motor is coupled to generator. This is motor and this is generator. So motor will take electrical energy and output of motor is mechanical energy. Input of generator is mechanical energy and output of generator is electrical energy. So the output of motor, that is mechanical energy, is given as input to the generator. Okay. So that same thing I have written here. Output of induction motor is input to the DC generator, and output of generator is how much? VT/IL, terminal voltage into load current. Okay. VT into IL will be the output of the generator. Now let us assume that the generator efficiency is 80%. Now P out of induction motor will be equal to P in of DC generator. Okay, same this one we have written here, that is P out of induction motor is equal to P in of DC generator. So efficiency formula will be what? Output power by input power. Okay, P out by P in. Efficiency formula will be what? P out by P in. So from this what I can write? P in will be equal to how much? P out by efficiency. So P in will be equal to what? P out by efficiency. So P out of generator is how much? VT/IL. So VT/IL divided by efficiency of generator in watts. Okay. So P out of induction motor will be equal to what? VT/IL by efficiency of generator in watts. And also we know this one, P in of induction motor. The input power of induction motor is W1 plus W2 watts. Okay. And cos phi is nothing but what here? Power factor. So power factor is given by P in by √3 VL/IL. That is P in value is how much? W1 plus W2 and divided by √3 VL/IL. So this gives us the value of power factor. Then efficiency of motor. Efficiency of motor will be what? Output power of motor by input power of motor into 100. If you want percentage efficiency, multiply by 100. Okay. Slip will be how much? Percentage slip, already we know this, Ns minus N by Ns. Okay. Into 100. If you want in percentage slip, multiply this value by 100. What is Ns here? Ns is the synchronous speed given by 120 F by P. F is the supply frequency in hertz and P is the number of poles for which the stator is wound. Okay. So Ns is equal to how much? 120 F by P for a given motor. Okay. So
So all these calculations are clear. So yes, what we are doing here, that output of motor is equal to input of generator we are writing. That is, output of motor is equal to input of generator, and this input of generator can be written as output of generator by efficiency of generator. That is VTIL by efficiency of generator. Power factor we are finding out. Okay, power factor is what? W1 plus W2 by root 3 VLIL. We are calculating also here efficiency of motor, that is output power of motor by input power of motor. Slip is equal to how much? Ns minus N by Ns. Percentage slip if you want, multiply by 100. And Ns is equal to what? Synchronous speed 120 F by P. Okay. As the load on the induction motor increases, so what happens to all the parameters we are going to see now. So already we know this point that as load increases, speed will decrease, okay, and slip will increase, and torque increases, and input current also increases, okay. Power factor and output power of the motor also increases. So what are the various parameters now which are increasing or decreasing? We are going to see now. Output of the motor will increase. Yes, output of the motor increases, power factor is increasing, efficiency will increase up to certain load, and after reaching some maximum point it will decrease, okay. So efficiency will increase up to certain load and then it will decrease. Speed will decrease, okay, speed will decrease, and slip will increase, and input current will increase. So always you have to remember, so as load increases, speed decreases. So if you remember this point, you can remember all the points, okay. So what first point you have to remember here, that whenever load increases on any motor, speed decreases, okay. Load increases, speed decreases, okay. Then remaining will follow. So this is the graph indicating the behavior of various performance parameters against the output power of motor in watts, okay. So what are these parameters we are seeing? So P out versus these parameters, that is efficiency, speed, power factor and slip, okay. So as I said earlier, efficiency will increase to certain point and after that it will decrease, okay. So this is the constant speed line. Dotted line is nothing but a constant speed line. Actually it should remain constant, but practically it is coming down here like this. So P out increases, speed will decrease slightly, okay. And these are the curves of power factor and slip. Let us see the applications of induction motors. So squirrel cage induction motors are the motors which are having moderate torque, okay. Already we discussed in previous classes that squirrel cage induction motor will have moderate starting torque, whereas slip ring induction motor will have a high starting torque, as high as the maximum torque, okay. So the starting torque of slip ring induction motor is very high, whereas squirrel cage motor will have a moderate starting torque, okay. So squirrel cage induction motor will be preferred for driving fans, blowers, water pumps, grinders, lathe machines, printing machine, drilling machines, etc. Whereas slip ring induction motor preferred for lifts, hoist, elevators, cranes, compressors, etc. Let us do a numerical. So what is given in the question we will see. A 200 kilowatts 3300 volts 6 pole 50 hertz star connected slip ring induction motor has a star connected rotor, and stator to rotor turns ratio is given as 3:2. Rotor resistance and leakage reactance are given as 0.1 ohms and 1 ohms respectively. Neglect stator impedance. Find first bit we have to find out current and torque at starting on rated voltage and with slip rings short circuited. Next we have to find out external resistance required to reduce the starting current to 50 amps with across the line starting. Compute also the starting torque under these conditions, okay. So first we will write the given data. So what is given? P out is given as 200 kilowatts, line voltage is given as 3300 volts, number of poles P is equal to 6, F is equal to 50 hertz, R2 and X2 are given here. Okay, that is rotor resistance is given as 0.1 ohms. Okay, and reactance is given as 1 ohms. So one more thing is given here, ratio of stator turns to rotor turns is given as 3.2:1. Sorry, it is not 3:2, it is 3.2. Okay, 3.2:1. That is, what is the value of K? K will be equal to what? Rotor turns by stator turns. So it is given stator by rotor. So we have to take the reciprocal of that. Okay, that is 1 by 3.2 will give us the value of K. Now we know this one, E2 by E1 is equal to K. For an induction motor, already we have seen for previous classes, E2 by E1 is equal to K. Okay, also it is given as a star connected slip ring. So for star connection, line voltage is equal to √3 times phase voltage. So line voltage I am representing by E1 line and phase voltage I am representing by E1 phase. Okay, so what will be my phase voltage? Phase voltage will be equal to line voltage by √3. So line voltage already it is given in the question, it is given as 3300. So 3300 divided by √3 will give us the value of line voltage. Okay, even phase voltage. So even phase is equal to what? Line voltage by √3. So this is giving us the value of phase voltage. Now from this equation, E2 phase by E1 phase is equal to 0.3125 which we got. That is E2 by E1 is equal to K. Okay, so from that again what we are finding out? We are finding out the value of E2 phase. Already we have done this for previous problems also. So now E2 phase will be equal to what? Multiply these two, that is E1 phase into 0.3125. E1 phase we have calculated. So 1905.25. So this 1905.25 into 0.3125 will give us the value for E2 phase as 595.392 volts. So first bit we have to find out the current and torque at starting with slip rings short circuited. Okay, so I2 starting, that is at rotor side we are finding out, and also at stator side we are finding out the starting current. So I2 starting current will be equal to E2 by root of R2 square plus X2 square. We know the value of E2 we have calculated. R2 and X2 values are given in the question as 0.1 and 1. Okay, so I substituted these values, I got this as 592.43 amps. Okay. Next is to the stator side, if you see the starting current K into I2ST, that is K value already we have found out, that is 0.3125 into this value. Okay, this will give us the stator side starting current. Okay, now to find out the starting torque, formula is there already, we have derived this formula for starting torque in the previous classes, that is T starting is equal to 3 by 2 pi ns E2 square R2 by R2 square plus X2 square. What is ns here? Small ns will be equal to ns by 16 rps. Okay, so now ns value we know, it is 120 f by p. F value is given as 50 hertz, p value is given as 6, and after calculation I am getting this value of ns as 16.667. Okay, substituted that ns value as 16.667 into E2 square, E2 value is 595.39 square into R2 is 0.1, this R2 0.1, X2 is 1. So starting torque how much we are getting? 1005.49 Newton meter. Okay, Newton meter is the unit of the torque. So second bit what we have to find out? TS starting torque. Okay, now IST is equal to how much? 50 amps with Rx inserted in rotor. Okay, now R2 dash value you know, R2 dash will be equal to what? R2 plus Rx, and I2 ST will be equal to what? IST by K. So IST value also we know we have found out the value of K and IST both, that is IST is 50 and K is 0.3125, 160 amps is the value for I2 ST. Now So this I2 starting will be equal to what? E2 by root of R2 dash square plus X2 square. So what we have to find out? This resistance value what will be inserted at the starting current of 50 amps. Okay, at 50 amps what is the resistance inserted? We have to find out that first. Then we will find out the value of starting torque. So now I2 ST is equal to E2 by root of R2 dash square plus X2 square. We know I2 ST value we have calculated as 160. So I have substituted here the value of I2 ST as 160 is equal to E2 by root of R2 dash square plus X2 square. So E2 value also we calculated 595.39. R2 dash we have to find out. X2 value it is given in the question. So R2 dash we have found out here as 3.5843 ohms. Okay. Now Rx value will be what? This value will be what? R2 dash minus R2. That is this 3.5843 minus R2 value it is given in the question. So this will be the external resistance to be added for 50 amps current. Okay. Now starting torque formula we know this one. That is T starting is equal to what? 3 divided by 2 pi ns into E2 square R2 dash by R2 dash square plus X2 square. Okay. Now we are taking into consideration R2 dash value. Okay. We are not taking R2 value now. So it is asked in the question. So by taking this resistance value only we have to find out the starting torque. Okay. So that value after substituting all the values we know the value of ns, we know the value of E2, R2 dash we have found out here. Okay. Okay. X2 is given in the question. So after substituting all the values I got the value of starting torque as 2628.7175. Units of torque are Newton meter. So I have written there Newton meter. So another problem we are going to see now. A 3-phase star connected induction motor has 55 volts across its slip rings on open circuit when normal stator voltage is applied. The rotor is star connected and has impedance of 0.7 plus J5 ohms per phase. Okay, Z value is given here as 0.7 plus J5 ohms per phase. Find the rotor current when the machine is at standstill with slip rings connected to a star connected starter with a phase impedance of 5 plus J4 ohms. Second one, running normally with 4% slip. Okay. So we have to find the rotor current in two cases. That is, first case is at standstill condition. Second condition is running condition with 4% slip. Okay. First we will write the given data. What is given? Line voltage is given as 55 volts. Okay. And impedance value is given as 0.7 plus J5 ohms per phase. Now phase voltage will be equal to line voltage by root 3. Line voltage is given as 55. So 55 divided by root 3 will give us the value of phase voltage. Okay, that is 55 by root 3 equal to 31.7542 volts is the phase voltage value. Okay. So we have to find the rotor current at standstill condition and at running condition. So Z2 dash is given as 5 plus J4. So ZT will be equal to what? Z2 plus Z2 dash. Total impedance will be equal to Z2 plus Z2 dash. That is Z2 value it is given as 0.7 plus J5 and Z2 dash is 5 plus J4. Add these two. How you will add? 0.7 plus 5. 0.7 plus 5 will be 5.7 and imaginary parts. These are the real parts. 0.7 and 5 are real. So add them. Then add these two, J5 plus J4 will be J9. Okay. So this will be my total impedance 5.7 plus J9. Okay. Now standstill current I2 is given as E2 by ZT. E2 value we have found out. Okay, 31.7542. That is line voltage by root 3. That is giving us the value of 31.7542. ZT value we have found out 5.7 plus J9. Now we have to always I said that addition subtraction should be done in rectangular form and multiplication and division to be done in polar form. Okay. So addition just now we have seen it was in rectangular form. It is in the form of A plus JB. So that is A1 B plus JB1 plus A2 plus JB2 can be written as A1 plus A2 plus JB1 plus B2. Same is the case with subtraction. So we can do addition and subtraction in rectangular form. Whereas this is rectangular form, this is polar form. It is in the form of r angle theta. So r angle theta means what will be r here? Magnitude. That is root of 5.7 square, 5.7 plus 9 square. Angle will be tan inverse of b by a. B by a means what? B is 9, a is 5.7. Okay. This is magnitude. Magnitude is what? Root of 5.7 plus 9 whole square, and this angle will be what? Tan inverse of 9 by 5.7. So I got this value here. So this divided by this, 31.7542 divided by 10.65 will be giving us this 2.9807. Angle will be what? This is in the denominator. When this angle goes to numerator, it will become minus. Okay. So angle minus 57.65 degrees. And current units are amperes. So I have written amps here. Okay. Now second one, running condition. So running normally means slip rings are short circuited, and slip value it is given as 0.04. Now Z2 is equal to 0.7 plus J5 ohms. So from this what I can write? This is resistance and this is reactance. So I am writing here separately. R2 is 0.7 ohms and X2 is 5 ohms. Okay. I2R value we know. This is the equation for I2R as E2 by R2 plus JS X2. Okay. S value is given as 0.04. E2 value we have found out as 31.75 divided by R2 is 0.7 plus J into S is 0.04. X2 is 5. Okay. So substitute all the values. We are getting here 1.2702 by 0.7 plus J is 0.2. Again I am converting this 0.7 plus J 0.2 in polar form. Okay. For division purpose. Okay. Why we are doing this? Because multiplication and division it is convenient to do it in polar form. Addition subtraction to be done in rectangular form. So 0.7 plus J 0.2 I am converting it to polar form. It is becoming 0.728. This is magnitude. That is okay. This is magnitude and this will be what? Angle. That is tan inverse of V by A. This is not like this. This is a square plus b square, that is 5.7 square plus 9 square. So same will be this case, that is this magnitude is what? Is root of 0.7 square plus 0.2 square will be magnitude. Angle will be what? Tan inverse of b by a. Tan inverse of b is how much? 0.2. A is how much? 0.7. Okay. Magnitude is root of a square plus b square and magnitude is tan inverse of b by a. So like that we are getting the current value, rotor current value in running condition as 1.745 angle. Angle again here in denominator it is positive, in when it goes to numerator it becomes minus. So minus 15.94 degrees amperes. Okay, 1.745 angle minus 15.94 degrees is your rotor current in running condition. Okay. So today's class what we have seen? We have seen the load test on 3-phase induction motor. Okay. So 3-phase induction motor load test we are doing to determine the performance characteristics of induction motor. So what are the various parameters we are getting? We are finding out slip, power factor, starting current or okay, starting current, starting torque or maximum torque, and we are finding out efficiency. Okay. So we have plotted all these 4 things, that is efficiency, power factor, current, okay, on by taking power as on x-axis. Okay. So against power we are plotting all these graphs: efficiency, power factor, speed and slip. Okay. So we have found, we have seen the graph also, we have seen the tabular column. So what is happening when a 3-phase supply is given to the motor? Here motor and generator both are coupled to each other. So this motor is 3-phase AC induction motor and generator is DC generator. Okay. And to the generator output lamp we are giving. Okay. Lamp loading we are giving to the generator. So when the generator is getting loaded, so motor is also getting loaded, because they both are mechanically coupled to each other. Okay. So by giving various loads we are finding out various parameters on both motor side and on generator side. Motor side we are finding out line current, line voltage, W1 and W2 values. Okay. On generator side we are finding out load current, terminal voltage and speed. Okay. So all these things we are plotting on a graph and finding out the characteristics of 3-phase induction motor. Okay, we have seen various applications also for squirrel cage and slip ring we have seen. Then we have seen the numericals based on this 3-phase induction motor topic. Okay students, next class, I hope everyone understood this class, and in next class we are going to see the no load test and block rotor test on 3-phase induction motor. Also we are going to see the circle diagrams, okay, of induction motor. Thank you everyone.